record. Hopefully it's working. So, Ran, how do you want to go?
I can do a short recap, then you can say what you want, and then we start according to the agenda. You want to, no, Gavri, go ahead with general product announcement, and then I will talk a little bit about the cycle before.
Okay, so basically in terms of how we are going to present the agenda of the talk, so we'll give a few minutes for some announcement, general announcement that we want to push forward. After that, we'll give...
Can you guys please mute yourself? There is someone with a lot of noise behind you.
After that, this will be a short part. After that, we'll go one team after the other and present what they did. The first will be Task Force 2. It will be the 10 minutes, and then Task Force 1, 15 minutes, Task Force 3, 15 minutes, and at the end also the Task Force of QA. And the way we are going to do that is, okay, we'll continue. Basically, we will explain what was the mission that each task had. Each one will present the mission that we gave, and then everyone will demo what actually was done. So let's start with the announcements. Basically, we are doing a change in the way we present changelogs. We already published the first new version of the changelog for Android TV. You can see it under the Zap admin. The idea is it now will be much more readable and divided by term, like by sections. One for the main features, one for features that involve only cell families, and then the bug section, and all tickets will be in a way that are written well, which brings me to the next part of the announcement. We already pushed for all the repos that we own pull request template that I saw that people are filling accordingly already. Basically, we need to follow what is written there. And the idea is that we will only approve pull requests if there are features that were approved by us that we know, so we are not surprised, but features that are somehow got into the SDK. And all the bug fixes will need to include a description or a link to a descriptive Jira ticket. And this is both the responsibility of the person that does the pull request and the person that reviews it. And the idea is that we will not work so hard like Gil did a tremendous job this cycle to release the changelog. It took him a lot of time because the pull requests were not clear. So we have to be, so we will and basically enforce this, so do know. The third part that we are going to announce, and I will send the link, is the product playbook. It will be a place for us to, put all the way we work. It's divided to processes that we are doing, and the tools that we are using, how we are using those tools, and we will keep on adding more and more as we go along. This will be a living document where I don't yet know how I will exactly tell everyone that we did changes in a normal way, not just like throwing Slack messages, but it will find a way. So I will share the link in general later on. Also, I will explain a bit about this project. And the last one is we are going to deprecate template apps. We already conveyed the message to all the regions. We will also write the plan how we are going to deprecate it. It will begin with end of sale, no new template apps. And afterwards, we'll decide how we do the end of life. The end of sale will be very soon. We will let you know. It shouldn't be a problem with any of the regions. The only issue that is left is kids templates, and this may be also not an issue, but we will close the loop with all of the regions. And this is the announcement part. Back to you, Ran.
Yeah, so just I will do a short introduction of what we did and what we decided to do. So basically, almost the entire team during this cycle joined forces in order to create the ability to bring TV apps to the UI builder and with a proper stable SDK that will leverage our Quick Brick, which is a code name for a new UI framework and new React and React Native SDK. So this was the main effort. All the task forces, almost all the task forces were joining that effort. We would say that this is the first iteration of a big chunk of work that we're gonna do related to Apple TV and Samsung TV that will require us to continue for the next cycle with this. And that's basically the team did a very, like the cycle, I would say before we started, it was a very ambitious cycle and in terms of the scope that we put in. And I think that now you will see the results of what we did. So thank you.
So we'll start with Task Force 2. Yuli and Shimon.
Yes, so second. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so our main task on this cycle was to give up on production or staging status for the reverse configuration of the layout, and to do more simple or intuitive navigation in the UI builder, to take the items that are under the layout inside to be like together inside under the layout section. If you see in the left panel, there is no navigation link. It's gonna be like screens and the navigation on the bar, on the gray bar. It will be in the next cycle. We will join also the cell builder. Everything will be under the layout, and the other parts that are not connected to layout, like feeds or plugins, will be continue to exist in with the links in the left navbar. So what changed? If we want to open the layout modal, so we will open it from here. We have your layouts, the name of the layout, and here is the indication for what target. It's another thing that we added for the layout. Is target, if it's mobile or if it's TV. And if this layout in the store. If it's in the store, so you will see here in store. If it's not in the store, there will not be any other indication. So the modal is also changed. It's not editable. Everything, when you click on the layout, it will open the layout. You cannot edit name here. You cannot delete the layout from here anymore. I will show you where all the actions are happening now. Here you can see also the indication next to the name of the layout if it's in store, and all the versions that attach to this layout. That this layout is active layout of the version. Okay, next. So where all the actions moves? It moves here in the more. You can duplicate the link to duplicate. So from here, the same modal as it was, just moved under the more drop down. Rename layout. Now we will rename it through a modal. And delete. You can delete here. If your layout is signed to versions, you will not be able to delete it. Only layouts that not assigned to a version, like let's say GIL multiple nav, I will not delete. I will just show that it's possible. All right. So you will delete the layout in this way. Save layout, preview on device, same preview, just a little bit the label, change of label name, save layout, saving as it used to. Save in the navigation, when we move into the navigation, so the bar, it's continued to be the same with the same functionality. When we inside some navigation, so the save button is changing with the save and the name of the navigation, and all the rest links are the same. Yeah, I think this is it.
Two more things, I think. The ability to create a layout of TV.
Yeah, no, it's Shimon continue with
okay.
Okay.
Sorry. And also the filtering moved to another place, just to show.
Yes, Shimon, can you show it? Filtering, okay, so 1 second. So I'll show it this, and then Shimon will take the screen. Okay, so the filter now moved here. Okay, it was used to be on the bar, so it moved to be here, filter screen or filter components. You cannot delete from here the river. It's only you will delete it only from the configuration panel. So yeah, that's it.
I would just add one more thing. This, like we always try, this is protected with a feature flag. If you open your Zap, it won't look like that. We will open the feature flag once basically we create we finalize the handoff with support, produce the Zendesk docs and everything. But you'll be able to see it if you want. We can open, if anyone wants to see it and play with it, he can contact me, and I will open it for him for playing and testing.
Okay, just a small thing to complete the picture. Can you see the screen? Can you?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is again, we are searching how can we help the TV guys from the Zap CMS side. So it is on one hand preparing the ground for the cell style builder and also for the TV layouts. So you already saw the target. Now for anyone who has this feature flag can create a new layout. And instead of choosing the default mobile tablet, you can choose a TV layout. And we have an example here of a TV layout. As you can see, TV layout has a landscape format. And also the preview components have now a look that matches more the TV look of narrower preview items that can be moved exactly and changed exactly like before. So there is nothing much more to it, just again, a visual aid which can be used as soon as the cell styles builder and the TVOS will be ready, so people can start adding components which are relevant for TV and get them, at least get the preview which doesn't look like a portrait. So for now, there is no implication of this divide of this target. It is not affecting the builds, but as soon as we have something working in TV, it will start to affect. And as you can see, we have this indication of TV layout as opposed to mobile layouts. That's it.
I want to say one thing. We have here Rona that is kind of a silent.
Yeah, I was just about to say something, but
Good, so
did you want to ask me something specific?
No, I just wanted to present you.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. So
I was just going to add that we've made some changes regarding the layout, and that we no longer have a production layout. So the logic has changed a bit. So now what we have is that a layout can be active in any number of versions, and in different places you'll be able to see the term active layout. And you'll no longer have to select a layout, a single layout as the production or as the default.
Basically, per version, you will be able to, you need to explicitly put the version that you want. In terms of migrating to the new place, if people now have production, we used what they have as their default. So anything in terms of migration and things like that, there are some minor issues that we are dealing with, and once we release that, we will release also the second feature flag. We have two feature flags, one for the what Yuli showed, and the other of adding new TV layouts with another feature flag. So just so you know. So really great work, and thank you. Let's move on to the task force 1.
Yes, so I have a small presentation that I have to show. Share my screen. All right. Okay. So basically what we did in this task force, so task force 1 was Anton, Edward, Atanas, and me. And basically what we did is the following. You know that we had these versions, right? We also worked in having more versions in Zap. And over the last few months, we've added Quick Break to iOS and Android. And basically the scope for this cycle was to achieve this state. So either it was supposed to have a Samsung app built through Zap, and also have it and tvOS working on the Quick Break framework. So with this cycle, we're going to announce a new version of Quick Break, which has lots of improvements. Now we support multiple React renderers. So we work for native environments, but also for the web. We've added in Quick Break in the core a support for a platform-based CLI template. So basically now you can customize the basic app on each platform that we serve, which is very useful when you have platforms and environments which have very different behaviors, like for instance, mobile and TVs. We added extended support for tvOS and HTML5 web apps, so dedicated to build on Samsung. And also we introduced an alpha version of the client side of the master cell, and a bunch of bug fixes and things like that. So before we step into the demo and where we show you, I wanted to show you like a summary of where we are today. So on the Zap end, basically now we have a new tvOS SDK based on QuickBreak that can do the same thing that you can do on iOS and Android. We'll leverage the UI builder configuration, the navigations, the plugins. We can install the app on a device, trigger a build in Zap. You just need to know that on tvOS, a hockey app doesn't work. So we'll introduce documentation that will explain you how you can download a binary directly from Zap and then install it on a device. And we can also trigger SDK release. On Samsung, we also leverage the UI builder configuration, the navigations, the plugin configuration. And we're really close on installing the app in a device and triggering the build from Zap. What we do for now is that when we build from Zap, we will deploy a hosted application, but you still need to use the Tizen Studio app to install this app on the device and to release it. But this is something that we want later on to integrate as part of the process. On the QuickBreak side, we've also achieved almost the same scope on all the platforms. We're just missing the analytic plugin infrastructure on Samsung, but it's not a major thing to add on this environment. So it's good to see that basically we've been fairly successful into trying to push the key concepts and the key success of QuickBreak that we've had on mobile. We've been able to expand that to other platforms and even some platforms that have like very different behaviors and very different environments. So that's a very good. One of the objectives of our scope was also to implement the features that are defined in the TV 2.0 scope. On this aspect, Samsung is a lot more advanced than tvOS. So Samsung has the video first experience, has the discovery state. If you're not sure what it is, just in a nutshell, the video first experience is that you have the player running in the background of the app. And the discovery state is that the app is kind of switching between, let's say, three main states, where one is you have just the player, so you're enjoying the content. Then you have another mode where you have just the controls on top of the player to play, pause, and interact with the video. And then you have the discovery state where basically you have the UI mounting on top of the video itself, so it doesn't completely break the viewing experience. Right. Another key thing on TV 2.0 is the fixed focus browsing. So I'm not going to get into the details here, but this is something that is in the TV 2.0 design that ensures that we have maximum content discovery as the user is browsing in the content of the app. What it means is that when you're navigating through a Rails, you're not like pushing the focus to the end of the screen and discovering one item at a time. Your focus remains on the left side of the screen. So every time you focus on a new item, you can see the 4 or 5 next new items. So your capacity to discover new content is really increasing. That's one of the key UX aspects of the TV 2.0 design. And so far, we've been focusing on building the infrastructure of this TV 2.0 on this platform. So we've only focused on creating one component, the horizontal list, which really reveals this potential. On Samsung, it's ready. On tvOS, there are a few rough edges to clean up. So I'm going to show quickly how it looks like on tvOS. So first, the UI builder configuration. So we've been using the new TV layout that Shimon has presented. You can see here that I have an app with 3 basic screens. One is the settings page, and 2 others are basic pages with Rails inside, right? And I also have a navigation here where I have my 2 items and my 2 screens on this side. I'm just showing this to you so that you understand that what I'm going to show in running on Apple TV right now is entirely pulled from this configuration. All right. So this is how the app looks, right? I had to remove the player in the background for 2 reasons. First, because the integration with the player controls is not entirely done. So it was playing and I couldn't remove the audio, which was annoying. And also we couldn't find working streams that had the HTTPS settings that we needed to play it here. But this is basically how it works, right? So you have all these cards here. And this is the fixed focus thing that I was talking about. So there are still problems with the styling, like margins and padding, that we need to fix, but you get the idea of the main behavior that we have. And you can see here you have another page, another category, and you have to imagine that this is happening on top of the player experience that you have, right? So now if I'm back on this page, now I have my remote on the side. You'll excuse me in advance, but using the TV remote on the simulator is really not a good experience, so I hope I'm not going to mess anything up. When I'm here, if I push on the menu button, basically it will hide the UI and just reveal the controls with the player underneath, right? And after a few seconds without interacting at all, these controls will disappear and let you enjoy your viewing experience like that. Now, if you interact with the remote in any way, it will bring back the controls. And if you trigger the proper action, which, like I said, the TV remote is really buggy, but yeah, like that. So when you trigger the proper interactions, it will bring you back into the discovery mode. You can give it a try on a device. It's much more reliable than using the remote on the simulator. But yeah, basically you saw the outline of the TV 2.0. So we still have work to do on this. The good thing is we have a very positive experience with React Native on tvOS. Very good experience overall with Quick Break on all the platforms. And even though we'll still have to work to rough around the edges, the main blocking point that we wanted to alleviate into these cycles have been alleviated. So now we're really confident that just spending a bit of effort to polish stuff, we're going to be able soon to release like really good, strong, really good apps with strong UX on the tvOS platforms. And since it's React Native, we can leverage data source providers out of the box, and also not all, but many of the React Native plugins that already exist. And I'm going to leave now to Ed to show you roughly how it's doing on Samsung TV.
Cool. Thanks, Francois. Yeah, so what I'm about to show you, I'll skip the bit that's in, can you see me? I'll skip the bit that's in UI Builder. Basically, what you're about to see is an app that's built in the same way in UI Builder, screens targeted, bottom tab bar, etc. So we won't go into UI Builder, but this is all being built with Quick Bricks on the command line against configuration in UI Builder. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to share this screen first. The demo is going to be in 2 bits. First of all, I'm going to show you the app in the browser, and then I've got something else to show you when I've finished doing that. Hang on a second. Let's share that. Okay, so you've got this. Okay, so this is, you might think that you've seen a lot of this before, but it's important to recognize that this is actually now coming all off configuration from Zap. You can build this, none of this is fixed at all. It's all built from the SDK and from the configuration in Zap. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just flipping between, that was an example of the Rails dispelling. There's the controls, but I'll bring back the Rails first of all, because I want to first of all show you flipping between video content. This is a bit of video that loads a bit faster. At the moment, all of these videos, they're just flipping between different HLSs, basically. From if it's one, it flips to the other. If it's the other one, it flips to the other one, and vice versa, etc. So yeah, so that's the stuff, you know, and again, the fixed focus thing that Francois was discussing here, with everything remaining fixed on the furthest point on the left there. Now, the other thing that he talked about was the display state. And if you wait here, so say you've stopped interacting with it now, so if you wait a number of seconds, then what's going to happen is the Rails are going to dispel. So I think it's set to maybe 20 seconds in total, but it's not going to take too much longer. And then and once you know, so you're watching, then the Rails dispel. Hurry up, hurry up. Come on. I think I set the timer quite high because I wanted to test something, but okay. Okay, let's go to the top menu. But this top menu up here is again coming out of UI Builder. So each one of these tabs here represents a bottom bar item that is sent to a target. And if you press on this, you press enter, then you load the new river below. So that's trying to play some content that's not compatible with this video player. So you can see, from this that you can have n number of screens, and they're set up to load new content into the, the main body of the app. Trying to get back to show you the. I think if I leave it now, it will show. Oh, the transport controls will come back, and I can return to that. But the other thing I wanted to show you was the app running on the TV. So. Where is my Tizen Studio? So here we go. Let's have a look. It should be launching behind me. Wait a second. Yeah, here it comes. I'll turn my camera around so you can see it. Hang on a second. No point looking at me. What's that? Oh yeah. Sorry. I thought my camera was on. Okay. Right.
It's on. We see you, Ed.
Yeah, you see me, right? Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. So behind you, yeah, you can see the same app, the same hosted app, because it's pointing at my the location on my machine here, my IP of my machine, and this is it here on the Samsung TV. And if I navigate around, we can. This is, by the way, there are two players involved here now. There is the native player, which you're seeing here on the TV. This is the native Samsung player playing the video in the background. And if you're looking at it in the browser, you're looking at the Video.js web player. So the functionality for the Video.js player is slightly more advanced. But on the Samsung TV, you can still see we can move up to the top bar and navigate around from the top bar. But it's not loading in the new rivers at the moment, and you can come down and you can move the rest of the rails around as well. So that's an example of that. But I just wanted to show you guys it running on the TV, because we've had a few problems with that part of things, which we managed to get fixed earlier. So so that's good news. So I think that's really the bulk of it. I can show you the controls as well on here now, because they've come back. Yeah, so let me share my screen if I can. Oh, I can't figure that out.
It's already shared.
We see you, Ed.
Yeah, but you see me, don't you?
We see the screen.
No, we see the screen.
He's sharing the screen. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay. Oh, in that case, this is Can you see the controls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you see the progress bar is an accurate representation of the amount of progress and the videos played, etc. And you can fast forward. You see it's fast forwarding.
Yep.
And you can rewind. You can press rewind and it starts to rewind, and then you can pause, etc. So, and then if you leave it, the same thing as I say that Francois was talking about, for a few seconds, the rails are going to dispel and disappear, and you're going to get back to your, your viewing experience. So anyway, that's the end of my demo.
All right, thanks, Ed. Thanks a lot. Can you dismiss your screen? I think you need to dismiss it on your side. So yeah, just to wrap this up, so what you see here, we still need to roll it out fully. Like the Quick Break 1.5 version that I was talking about is not released yet, but it's going to be very soon. And we want to make sure in the next days to come that we're going to add tests to secure the code base from regressions and stuff like that, and that we tweak the documentation that we started to release so that it covers properly all platforms, so that the behavior that we showed in the last few cycles in Quick Break, now you will be able to read that also on tvOS and Samsung. So that's it.
Great.
Thank you very much. I want to say something, Gabriel, can I? No, if you want to say something before we move on, that's fine.
I just want to say that there's a small thing about mobile and why we didn't release the mobile. At first, Francois spoke about that we already implemented the mobile side. So in the mobile side, we are waiting for the cell style builder because we didn't want to implement all the families again. So this is what is holding us from releasing also the mobile part. That's
I want to say a few things. First, the work that was done on Apple TV, just for you to understand, the guys wrote the SDK from scratch. It's not based on the current tvOS SDK. It's not related to the TV app that we have. And to me, it makes it much more impressive what they achieved. And Anton is not here, he's flying, but it's a big applause to Francois and Anton and everyone that was involved, also John from the EU regarding the design and Edward regarding the Samsung. We did a lot of work also that Francois, two things. First, Anton implemented a video player component, native component, that we will leverage on our mobile apps as well. So it will allow us to create a video player as a component in the nearest future. It will be the same thing. And he created it in a way that it will allow, and I also suggest to say today, to take this component to use it, there is a clear separation between the video player and the overlay on the top of it. I know a lot of regions, many of the regions needs to do implementation of a video player with a lot of interactions on the top, timelines, stuff like that. So if you have something like this, please talk to us and use it, not only for TV, also for other. Another huge thing that was happening during this cycle is because the team worked so closely, QuickBrick is now compatible with web, which means that there are still, I'm sure, things to polish, but it means that if we want to take a framework of web now and implement a framework of web, QuickBrick is ready. Is ready to be used, and it could leverage a lot of work that was done with Edward and Francois. That's mainly it. The amount of effort that the people put here is tremendous. I have to say, we achieved a lot of what we planned, and to me, it's very, very, very impressive. And thank you very much for all the hard work, because people really sweated during this cycle. And the idea is to kill the tvOS, the old tvOS app that we have. I hope, crossing fingers, that by the end of next cycle, you won't be needing to use the old SDK anymore, because you will gain all the features that we already have there in the new SDK. So thank you very much.
Atanas, on your side.
Yeah.
Yes. So on my side, I didn't work on QuickBrick, but there are a few other things that happened on Android TV and Amazon TV. One of them is that DSP is live and you can build apps now. Actually, you can't build apps without DSP. So every app, including those that were released, the Olympic channel, Real Vision, I think, was released today, if I'm not wrong. They are using DSP. They're on Applicaster too, but it's used through DSP. And if they want to add other DSPs, they can do it. There were a few issues with DSP, some issues, a few regressions, but like everything is cleared up now. So it's officially rolled out. The other thing is, let me share my screen. So can you see my screen? It's the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Cool. So this is this is Zappon, and it is using everything as configured in Zappon with some minor differences. It's using DSP. And it is using the new navigation infrastructure in Android TV and Amazon TV, and the updated navigation plugin. So this is this thing that's up. Genre and sender, they are stubs. I added them manually for the purpose of this demo, but the data is real. It's coming from the original Zappon project. So if I can change it, like it will update. So it's updating the genre, it's updating the sender. I can navigate. When I go to settings, it is launching settings. Everything is consistent. It is using the fonts that were specified for this project. It's loading the Rails. So this is Zappon, and I would also like to show this in an older version of Real Vision. So this is not the Real Vision that was released today. It's an older SDK, but I want to show that the navigation plugin can work not only with Zappon but also with other apps. So this is an older version of Real Vision. So you can see that it's loading. So this is the data will load. This was in a previous SDK. And I can go to home. It's using the color scheme of the app, and it is using the fonts of the app. The settings screen is currently hard-coded, but it can be changed easily. Like if you need a specific setting screen for you, please talk to me, and I can add it quickly. So this is what was done. I've been working in another screen, which is in progress currently, but I also helped out with a few issues on Real Vision and the Olympic channel, and luckily the teams returned back to the platform. So there are two amazing things that were done. For the Olympic channel, it is infrastructure that would allow adding custom screens, like any screens that you guys like. Anything that you implemented, you can add it as a plugin, and it will work. So this is working in the Olympic channel for the settings screen, but you can use your own screen. You can make it as beautiful as you want. So this was done by Javi Casadomek and Latam team. So cheers, thank you guys. And the other thing is, if you see this icon, the lock icon here, it's been very controversial in mobile and TV. So the logic in TV is different from the logic on mobile, but the good thing is that you can override this behavior if you're using your plugin. So in Real Vision, you have a login plugin. So the thing is, after you log in, you may want for these lock icons to disappear. So this is now happening, and I don't think that this is even working on mobile. So it was added by US team, by Hani yesterday, and I think it's live in Real Vision. So I didn't test it myself, but I proved the pull request. It's a very elegant solution. So you log in, and then you do what you want to do. Then you go back to this screen, and the lock icons are not there because you're logged in. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very basic feature, but we didn't have it for such a long time, and we have it now, and this makes me happy. So that's I think that's it. Do I have 20 seconds to make something that's not
20, 15.
Yes. So guys, please don't add mobile navigation plugins to your TV apps because they're crashing the apps, including when Zap adds them automatically. Your apps will crash. You will see a blank screen. So please don't do that. If there are any bottom bars, sidebars, two-level sidebars, whatever, please remove them. There's only one navigation for TV. It's the top navigation. If you want the default sidebar navigation, please don't add anything. So that's it.
I want to add a few more things. We also in this cycle did extensive work with a lot of work from the support team to support TV, Android TV. So hopefully this will help to reduce the time that Atanas, and this is also the place to thank him, gave for assisting the regional teams releasing the apps. So a lot of the time that was spent in the Android TV was actually on helping regions with their apps on the stores, because this is the only version that we have currently live out. So just so you know. Thank you, Atanas, for that.
You're welcome. I'm getting a lot of help, and the regions are returning the favor.
Yeah.
So the favors,
Yeah,
it's all cool.
Just so you know, for the future, that we will protect you. So this is like the last time I thank you, because now the support will give the proper support.
Yes. So I spent a lot of time chatting with the support team. With Hannah, mainly, and she was trying to
move forward. I'm sorry to interrupt. We don't have a lot of time, so thank you very much, Atanas. I want to jump to Task Force 3, and I want Alex to present first the work, Alex D, the work that was done recovering the Android side of the pre-hooks plugins that we presented in the previous cycle on iOS. Alex is here. Alex,
yes.
Take 5 minutes. We don't have a lot of time, but I'm sorry for that. But
can you guys hear me first of all?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you can hear me. Perfect. So I'll try to share the screen. So as I understand, you're already familiar with the ideas behind the hook screens, and Anton did a lot for hook screens for the iOS side last cycle, and also expanded on it this cycle. So basically what I had to do is just mostly match the job that he done for the Android. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so basically to implement the hook screens, we'll be needing, I'll just go through the few small steps. We'll be needing to add the interface that would define on every screen some specifics of the logic. As we have, as the hook screen can succeed or fail, basically it's going to be up to the user, the developer, to implement the logic behind it. In fact, we're giving a lot of customability for the user to define the logic of the hooks. And we try to look into multiple scenarios, like whether the hook will be dismissed, obviously completed or fail, and all of this can be defined and customized. For the example, let's go into the, for example, the top bar here. This top bar opens the full screen activity hook, and we can play around and adjust the settings for it. For example, if we want to dismiss, and we said that the hook can be dismissed without breaking the flow, which is the flow broker on top, and this is a not recurring hook, that it's going to mean that next time we open the same screen, we're not going to see this hook played over again. So I don't know, it can be probably used for the login or some specific screens that you don't need to show every time we go into the screen, maybe ads. Let's, for example, dismiss it. Since it's not going to break flow and dismiss, it's going to go into the next flow, and this is annoying ad. And we're getting into the YouTube screen, and it's purposely set not to have any data source, so disregard that, please. Now we can go back, and we can also attach the screen hooks to the navigation, and that's going to be the hook screen 1 in our case. This one will open the fragment instead of the full screen activity. We can also play with different settings. We can do it recurring hook. We'll press success, and I've set it up this way that it's a multiple chain hooks. Unfortunately, I had to use the same fragment, so it's not a lot of visual customization here. But basically what happened on success of the previous hook, we moved onto the second hook, and now we have to basically follow through this logic till, let's go with success, till we go into the final screen. One thing that I added, I'm not sure if Anton has it or not, and actually let's go to the home screen. Now, in fact, if we'll go back to the top bar, and you see that we're going straight to the YouTube screen without going through the same hook again. That's because we specified it not to be presented every time. Now that we go back to the hook screen, what I've also added is that theoretically we can call for another chain of hooks within this chain of hook. Basically, I think it's already ignored, but if we would reload the app and click here, we would go through the same chain of hooks, and then we can come back to the current hook that we have and continue our previous chain of hooks. So I think it can be used for something. While setting this logic, unfortunately, I messed up something, and it is articles plugins and player plugins. They also support the screen hooks, and if I click now, it will crash, unfortunately, due to the wrong layout that I added, and I didn't have time to investigate and fix it. But basically, the idea is exactly the same, apart to the fact that there is some specifics that is put on the documentation. We'll be needing to convert this article or video player into the pluggable screens, and that is done because we basically programmatically generate the next screen on the click for video player or article, and this screen is not going to have the screen ID. And for us to set up the hooks, we do need to have a screen ID. So as soon as you set up the plugin screen, implement the plugin screen interface, then you shouldn't have this problem. Also, another thing for the player is that some players might have the default store interface, and it's strongly recommended to disable this logic, as basically screen hooks should be used, I guess, instead of the storefront, and we would probably work on the storefront pre-hook. And speaking of pre-hooks, we also, at least on iOS now, we already have the post-hook logic. Is basically the same idea of pre-hooks, but they will be called just before the screen is closed. This is something that I didn't implement in this cycle for the Android, but I will return to that for sure. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer.
We don't have time for questions, I'm sorry, but basically we aligned the implementation on iOS with the ability to have this pre-launch of a screen capabilities, which can be used for advertisement, for payments, for any kind of custom logic before presenting any type of screen. So when we will roll it out when the cycle will end, and basically it will allow us the ability to have all this, what we call payment infrastructure, a stronger login infrastructure, and basically any custom behavior. Thank you very much, Alex. It's a tough task.
Thank you, guys.
Tough for iOS and tough for Android. Let's move to the rest of this team, the on-call, Gil and Alex. Gil and Alex are here.
Alex, do you want to go first? Okay, I don't have much to update. I was working mainly on releasing the SDK. We had a lot of regression and crashes, and most of my work was to handle them. Yeah, so I don't have like a product update on my side, but I know that Alex...
You made the per screen navigation that we're gonna release.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't know it was announced, so I didn't want to talk about it. So if we are, yeah, we have the ability to define for each screen different navigation bar. I believe that it's under feature flag now. Yeah, so once it will be available for everyone, you will be able to add each screen a specific navigation, and each navigation will have its own items, its own style, and yeah, you will have much more freedom than you used to in that term. Yeah.
Gil is also in the process that we've done on iOS already, Alex will say, of migrating cell style families or extracting cell style families to be plugins. Hopefully this will be done soon, and it will reduce the need for regions to use latest SDKs related to design that they need. Alex will mention he's here. Alex?
I'm here. I'm here on.
Cool. Shoot. Alex?
I can start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me show the screen. Okay. iOS. So I'm showing currently the completed task in this cycle that I was working on. First thing was the split of the just second. The first one is the split of the self-type families from the SDK to the standalone plugins. It is actually done on the start of the cycle, and because it will no longer require to change main SDKs to be able to update some specific cell in one of the families, and actually will not require any hotfixes when it is needed for previous version of the SDK. This was moved to
We can't hear you well.
being checked, and we have actually.
Alex, we cannot hear you. No, okay, Alex, we cannot hear you. I'm sorry.
We'll buy you a new internet connection.
Yeah.
It's present for the new year. Yeah.
We cannot hear you. Sorry, I will try to. I don't know if you hear us, but Alex also did work allowing us to be able to debug push notifications and some.
Not giving up.
Anyways, he cannot hear us. So anyway, so Alex did a lot of work doing some infrastructure work of allowing us to debug easily apps and to be able to debug features that we couldn't on debug and not on store releases. And he did a lot of on-call bug fixes for the last month.
I would just note about the debug thing that it's related to allowing push notification in debug mode, things that were requested for a long time ago. And he's also in the process. He said he going to talk about only things that he done, finished, but he's on the process of also working on the push notification with images, which is also a feature that is requested for a long time.
Yeah, I think we're exactly 1 hour. So we're gonna basically.
We have Boaz.
Sorry. Right. Sorry, Boaz. Go ahead.
Really shortly. So first of all, do you see my screen? You can hear me well?
Yes, but we cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me? Are you sure? Speak louder, you're saying?
Yes, speak louder.
Okay, I'll get closer to the... Okay, so the main thing we did during this cycle was, first we added the new test to the Circle CI flow, the test dealing with banners. The test verifies displaying of interstitial, inline banner inside list, and the skin banner component. We also added the testment for the sync button, which means that on every SDK cycle, we're gonna test deep inside the sync button with all and verify that its functionality works correctly, no regressions there. As usual, and as a continue to what Alex and Gil said, we had 2 SDK releases, iOS 10 SDK. We had 30 new issues, and 9 were fixed. About Android SDK 7.2, we had 22 issues, and 16 were fixed. More than that, we added the Appium UI. We added a plugin to enable automation. What we did, we gathered all the code that's found on the client side on iOS. We gathered it into a plugin. We also supported the first announced feature.
Boaz, someone is knocking on something behind you because we cannot hear anything.
It's not me.
It's someone else. So guys, please mute yourself, whomever.
Looks violent. And last thing, we were queuing a Brightcove player of the marketplace team.
We missed one of the most important parts.
What?
The UI test plugin.
It's the Appium UI test. This is it. The Appium UI test plugin.
Yeah, so basically now you can go to your iOS apps, add a plugin, and it will run automation on the test that you will want to run and the test that we already wrote while you are deploying, while you are developing on the CI.
It will disable, enable the test to run. Okay, the test can run only if the plugin is there. Okay.
Yeah.
On every build of a version.
This is something that's happening on every pull request that's being merged.
Okay. No, but you add the plugin to a specific app, so it happens on the plugin.
The plugin.
I'm saying if I add this plugin to my app, when the automation will run anytime I click the build button.
No, it's no. If the plugin is enabled in your app, it means that you are able to run tests. I mean, it's kind of an architect decision. I mean, to gather all the code that needed in the client side into a plugin. Okay, and it's also allows us to enable or disable all the logic behind all the logic of the automation, all the logic that's setting accessibility IDs to views. It's all it's all gathered there and controlling it. It does not mean that if the plugin is inside your app, that it means that some test will run. I mean, it will enable you to run the tests. Okay?
But the test will run during build time.
And the test we have today, I mean, the test we have today in Circle, yeah, they will now, from now on, they will need this plugin. And as usual, we can already say, on every pull request, the test will run and, we will run with this needed plugin.
Cool.
Okay, that's it, thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much. We spend more time than what is needed, but I wanted to say that the efforts that were done by the team was tremendous. All aspects of the team. We accomplished a lot. We aimed high, and we accomplished a lot. And thank you very much for everybody. And for extra questions or other questions from the people that are outside of the team, please contact us, me or Gavri or the team.
Also, I just want to say that I will go to each and any to a representative of each region, and we'll talk to him about the cycle. So every region, find your representative.
Guys, I have one last thing to say. This was amazing, so beautiful. I know that Ron or Gavri, someone will be posting a YouTube video so that other people in the company can see this. So people who are joining from regional teams, please encourage everyone else on your team to take a look at this, see what is useful and relevant for you, what you're going to be using. But I think that this will make everyone so proud, and it's great information.
Great.
One thing Ben want to mention, this is very important about the TV team. Ben, you want to shoot? Ben, you're muted if you are talking.
He will unmute himself. Just give him 2 seconds.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of everything that happened this cycle, we should note that the TV team and the regions launched 9 TV apps this cycle. That's within 1 month, all of which have gone live within the last 3 days. And that's across Roku, Apple, Android, and Amazon for 3 really important clients, Zappen, OC, and Real Vision. So I think the work done by the regions, the work done by the core team to support those on top of delivering this cycle shouldn't be underestimated. Cheers. Thanks for all your help.
Yes, great job by everyone, the regions and us. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Deborah, we hijacked you? No. Okay, cool. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice rest of the day.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.